Welcome back, and thank you for joining us on this episode of Mugscast.
Today we're going to be talking about Iron Man 3 and Thor the Dark World as we continue to rank the MCU, now starting into Phase 2. Cheers.
All right, let's go ahead and just get right into it.
Iron Man 3.
Iron Man 3, yeah.
Iron Man 3. So,
wait, no, right off the bat, Jensen. Bro, right off the bat, just Jensen, right there.
Just scared me. Yeah, I know. Did you not remember that?
No, I actually didn't. Okay, so check it out, right? I've only watched Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
3 times, okay? So, the first time I watched it, I was really young. I didn't even pay attention to it. And Iron Man 3 came out years after Iron Man 1. Never rewatched Iron Man up to that point. Then the second time I watched it, I completely missed the first, 5 minutes of the movie. Because I was just like, oh, who cares? It's a party. It's not important. So this was my actual, third time really watching.
The first, part
really,
of it?
yeah. Iron Man 3, really watching the beginning. When I saw Jensen, I was like, how did I miss this? The first 2 times I watched this movie. I was like, that's crazy.
I just want to start off by saying this is the last movie that was, slated to release, Disney bought Marvel, and this movie had already been set up.
Yeah.
This is the last movie to have Paramount in front of it from forever. Now it's all Disney. So I just thought that was a little interesting thing. Yeah. So he's got that kind of opening narration, which I really like, about talking about how we create our own demons and all that, and then I'm Blue starts playing or whatever. I don't know what the song is actually called.
Yeah.
I remember the last time that I had watched it before this, I was like, what the fuck? That blew my mind. I was like, I don't remember this. But, I mean, it makes sense. It's a very, really thematically appropriate song when you listen to what he's saying.
Yeah.
Jensen. Tony is being extremely obnoxious about being to fuck whatever her name is. I can't remember her name. Maya.
Maya, I'm pretty sure.
He's just saying to everybody we're about to go fuck.
Yeah.
And she's not really stopping him at all. I guess they do fuck, but she seemed like she didn't want to at first. Anyway.
Okay, so part of the reason I don't watch this intro is because I don't like Happy in it, because we have. Listen.
You don't
I love Happy.
Pulp Fiction Happy?
Yes, I love, but at the same time, it's this is what happens when you make prequels from movies that had already come out, when you do prequel scenes, because Happy was nowhere. Iron Man 1 ruins Happy, man. He's such a cold, dead character, right? And then we have this really goofy Happy in the prequel, and then in Iron Man 2, he's also this really goofy, you know what I mean? It's what happened to Happy between?
I don't care. I don't really mind it.
I love his character. It's just weird though.
They do a lot of retconning type things like that, and
so
I prefer this anyway. I
like it better, but it's just I always hate it because it always ruins the continuity. Jesus. It always ruins the continuity. Always. That's part of the reason that I despise Captain Marvel. I told you, I will say it every episode. I will say it every episode. But
oh my god.
But it's part of the reason that I can't stand Captain Marvel. But anyways, yes. Yeah. So we have that opening. AIM, it's they go on the elevator, right? Because you're talking about
I wanted to say Killian comes up and they get on the elevator and Killian slips in. And before he slips in, Tony's like, "Oh no, sorry, pal, the elevator's full." And then he slips in, and Tony says, "Oh wow, made it! He made the cut."
Yeah, he made the cut.
I thought
it's funny.
It's another one of those lines that I mentioned, in Infinity War, where he's they're talking about Kevin Bacon and or Grease or whatever how they're talking about. And you hear Peter in the background say he never was or whatever. Yeah. It's another one of those lines where it's just in the back. You don't even see Robert Downey Jr. say it. You just hear him faintly in the background oh, he made it. He made the cut. It's so funny.
But okay, so the funny part about that whole situation is if you're a big comic book fan, you're gonna know AIM. You know what I mean? It's a big thing. It's a big name.
Advanced
idea. But then other people are just okay, whatever.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? He's just who the fuck's this weirdo? Which, by the way, we'll get into it, but I like his portrayal in the very beginning of the movie where he's all this super nerdy
they dorked his ass up.
Nerdified the shit out of him.
Yeah. Or did they sexy him later?
Yeah, they sexy him later, true. But and then it's back to that whole Iron Man 1, Iron Man 2 thing. It's Tony's past sins coming back to bite him in the ass. That's exactly what every one of his movies. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
It's his sins.
Yeah, and even continuing on from that in further movies Civil War, Age of Ultron, and then
Tony is
in Far From Home. He has ramifications on even people who aren't him.
Yeah, but Tony is like, let's be honest for a moment. Like, if Tony was a real person, he would be an absolute arrogant piece of shit. Like, straight up. Like, if he was an actual real person. But, like, obviously he's lovable because we see, like, the good side of him. But, like, Tony is extremely arrogant.
Yeah.
Like,
well, especially in the past. Yeah. But he learns from his mistakes, obviously. And I always wonder, like, did he really mean that he wanted to talk to Killian, or was he just trying to get him to leave? And I'll never know.
He was definitely just trying to get him to leave.
I don't know. He seems so. He's not. Because, like, usually when he says shit to people, like, he'll say, like, the most, like, douchebaggy things to people. Right, he would. And they won't acknowledge it. Like, he'll just be like, you're a fucking loser. And they'll be like, yeah, so anyway, what were we talking about? Like, somehow he'll get away with it always, but you can tell that he's making, like, a joke about them.
Yeah.
In this, it just seemed like he was like, I want to know. I'm, like, interested in what you have to say. I'll meet you up on
I think he was just trying to get some ass.
Yeah, I think he got sidetracked, but I'll never know. Like, maybe he was just trying to get rid of him. Like, they don't really clarify on it, and I've always wondered, was he just trying to get rid of him, or was he really interested in what he had to say?
Oh, one thing I did want to touch up on is, dude, at this point, Robert Downey Jr. is so comfortable as Iron Man.
Oh my god, bro!
His acting, like, I bet you, he makes it look so easy. Like, he doesn't even make it look like he's acting. It makes it look like he is. Robert Downey Jr.
I think it's a lot of his personality to begin with. Like, it's a lot of him in the role. Yeah. So then you cut forward to that first scene of him with the suit.
Suit test, yes.
Still one of my favorite, like, most iconic scenes out of, like, all of Iron Man. Like, that I put the suit that flies to him is still
very cool.
The Mark 42 it is, yes. But it's, like, my favorite. I think it's my favorite suit.
It's cool.
Even design, look-wise, and everything about it is my favorite.
But in the middle of that test, like always, Tony gets too fucking cocky, and he comes back to kick his ass.
Yeah.
Like, dude, to watch him get flipped over.
And he still has the dummy robots there. Yep. They have less of a role as but they're still there. You can still see him. He's talking to him, talking shit to him. But yeah, that upgrade of it flying to him, I remember at the time being like, "Oh my fucking god! Like, this is major."
It's funny. I thought about that as well.
It's the last time that they really put even, like, the slightest amount of effort into explaining it, like him, like, putting shit in there and having, like, this whole scene of him learning how to use it. And then, in Infinity War, he's just, like, got nanotech now. It's like, this is the last, like, official, like, major upgrade that he makes.
To be fair, this is also the last official major Iron Man movie.
Of course. But yeah, so that makes sense. But I just, like, I appreciate it for that. And it's always been, like, my favorite. Just, like, the concept of that, of, like, having it be able to fly to him and him, like, suiting up like that. That's been such a iconic thing to me.
Another thing that I talked about is how much of a workhorse he's become because of all his PTSD and his anxiety. Like, he's literally consistently tinkering. Like, what is it they said? He didn't sleep for, like, almost 48 hours?
Yeah.
Something like that. Like, yeah, he's just consistently working because he's scared. Like, this is when you start to see, like, Tony's affected, like, majorly by what happened in New York.
Oh, yeah.
With this. Yeah, this is when you start to really, like...
Which is really such a great idea.
It is.
As a follow-up to the Avengers, just talking about how, like, obviously, you have, like, Black Widow and Hawkeye and stuff, but, like, they're not making movies about them, so as to have, like, the most normal character who hasn't experienced anything like this in any of his movies thus far, because, like, Cap, has experienced, like, the Tesseract and things like that.
And it's not
to have, like, see what the ramifications of that are on, like, a normal human, like, psyche is, like, really, it's such an interesting idea.
It is. It's handled, we'll talk about it more. It's handled overall well, though, is what I'll say.
So right after that, we get the first Mandarin scene, which I don't know if I put right after that. I wonder, would people have really been happy if he had been the real Mandarin? Based off of the way they portrayed him in the movie, would they have wanted him? Because he wouldn't have. If they had said he was the real Mandarin, he wouldn't have been the real Mandarin. He would have been a terrorist.
He would have been a terrorist.
He wouldn't have been the rings, none of that. He just would have been a terrorist, and he would have been, like, a cool terrorist, I guess, like, pretty badass. But, like, that's not really a villain for Iron Man.
No,
you know what I mean?
It's not. I mean, it is in the comics.
Like, if that twist hadn't happened and he had just been this terrorist guy, people would have liked that more.
No,
like,
see, I wrote it down. I did write it down. It's more towards the bottom. But I think the problem that people have is they tried to make it too twisty here and there. I think they tried to add too many twists and turns with, like, towards the ending. It's just like, okay, like, you guys
that was the only twist, though.
No, there was a couple. I wrote it down. There's a couple other twists that ends up happening that it's just like, okay.
Yeah.
But, like, they're not even twists. If you're paying enough attention, you know. Like, you know what I mean? But what else did I write? Let's see. War Machine. When they're having that discussion, we move over to the War Machine.
Iron Patriot?
Yeah, the Iron Patriot.
Yeah.
And he's roasting the shit out of him. And he's like, that's a dumb name. He's like, War Machine's better.
Oh yeah, when they're in the diner.
The diner.
I put right before that though, like they introduced the Iron Patriot, and it's like it's a really quick introduction, but it makes sense in the context. Like there's this insane terrorist, and they're trying to like get out ahead of it and have it's like a publicity stunt basically to make people feel more safe. Yeah, which I like, and it makes sense.
I mean, it's also comic book accurate though too, because there was an actual Iron Patriot.
Oh yeah, but that was like a Norman Osborn thing. But still, like just I think like as a way to introduce that as a concept to the MCU was like just super quick and made sense.
Out of
like,
the way. They didn't make it a huge thing.
And even if they, like they didn't need to make it a huge thing. Like,
exactly.
It just
get
it out and it makes sense. And it's like, okay, we got this now.
But he's roasting them and like some of their back and forth. It's so good. When
the kid comes up right when they're in the conversation. He's like, dude, I'm not trying to be a dick. Tater.
But then he's like, oh, okay, Richard. Like,
he's like, my friend Richard here can take a picture of us.
Yeah, it's so good. I wrote that line. That line. But
like, so Brody good. Already covered it, but then he's like going on top of it, which then like blows the whole thing. It's like, oh,
so good.
What? Yeah. So then he has that first PTSD attack.
Wait. And then the way he talks to that kid too, though. Like Tony is not good with kids, man. He says, "Oh, hey, I really liked you in the Christmas story."
Yeah. So good. Bro, everything. And I've written down the majority of my notes are just lines that he says. To Harley. It's just like, too. God damn, it's so fucking funny. So yeah, I love that he just like has his suit parked out front of the diner like a car. Like he's just sitting there waiting for him. But yeah, he has his first like attack,
and it's rough.
Yeah.
Like, it's so funny because it literally goes directly from, like, that nice comedic moment to, like it's, like, in the snap, like, in the drop of a hat, it's, like, super serious.
Yeah.
Like you can tell this is not a joke. Like, the PTSD is getting to him, like, hard.
And it's not like a terrible portrayal of, like, an anxiety attack.
No, it's not. It's really well done.
Pretty realistic.
It's very prominent. Like, you can tell, okay, this is going to be a big role in the movie. Like, this is going to play, Like, they make it, like, they make you know, hey, this is not a joke. This is.
I love then we get like Happy is like taking the security way over seriously.
That's what I wrote. Happy's being a dick about security. He's like way over top about it.
ID badge. Yeah. Buddy, you need that ID badge. And in a similar way to what I think I said about the first Thor movie with Loki, Killian, when he shows back up for the first time, seems like for that first like 5 minutes like such like a normal like decent guy. Like he seems like this is like a like he can be like a nice guy, and he's like he doesn't freak out about her saying no. He's like, well, I can't say I'm disappointed, but you know thanks for seeing me.
It's like she's also like very enamored by him too. Like she's clearly.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah. She's like clearly into him.
Yeah.
He does that little presentation with the brain, which honestly, like visually, that's really cool. I really like that scene. And then we have.
And he has that subtle little flex where he's like, "Oh no, sorry, that's the universe. This is my brain."
Yeah. But like, it's not even just that. It's like then Happy starts to get like nosy, he starts to watch.
Yeah.
And then he calls up Tony, and I like the line where Tony's like, "Oh hey, forehead obscurity," because
yes, I wrote that down. Where is it?
Yeah.
Is this foreheads obscurity?
It's so good, dude.
Because he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing with the iPad, and he can't flip the camera and shit. And I love he says as well. He's like, I don't like the look of this guy. I'm gonna run his plates, and if it gets rough, so be it.
Yeah.
He's like so serious about it.
You had said that we'll talk about more like Pepper being into Killian, which is like, yeah.
Well, I just want to have like an overarching. We'll get to it at the point. I think it's coming up really soon of just like. We'll talk. Just give it a minute. We're about to get to it.
Go ahead.
What is it? Oh yeah, she comes in and she realizes he's not in the suit, and then they go down, and the suit's standing next to her, and they're talking, and he's like, "So what are you doing with Killian?" And she's like, "Oh my god!" And the suit, he like has the suit turned, like, "What are you doing with Killian?" The suit turns and looks at her as he's talking.
Yeah.
The suit's like, "Yeah, what the fuck?" I thought that was really funny. Let's see. Oh yeah, here we go. Pepper is really fucking shitty in this one. She's doing all this flirty shit with Killian, and Tony has a panic attack in the middle of the night, and she leaves him to sleep by himself as if it's his fault. That pissed me off so much.
Same. It actually really
she's like
bothered me.
Actually a real dick in this movie.
Yeah, it's not that she's a dick. It's understandable she was scared. The armor grabbed her pretty rough.
Yeah, fuck off though.
It's understandable she was scared. She was, but
scared, but like you're like,
because
nah,
before
fuck
that
you.
scene, but before that scene, she was all like super enamored into Killian, and that bothered me. Like she was so like into him, and I get it. It's because Tony's being such a workhorse. His PTSD is like, I actually even wrote a note about it. His PTSD is like got him so rattled that like he's so busy consistently working for new suits, new things because he doesn't want to. Okay, so what I wrote was he's trying so hard to protect the one thing that he loves that he's losing the thing that he loves by trying to protect it.
Yeah, but
that's what I wrote. And it's the way he's handling it. It could be better.
But that's such a an issue. Like instead of fucking like I don't know complaining about it, like why don't you like try and help him through it in any way at all instead of just honest, like immediately going and being like this guy's pretty hot.
No, let's be honest for a second. There's no way in hell she didn't tell him at some point you should get therapy, and we all know Tony would be like,
no, because she seemed like she didn't even. He had to like exposit like everything that was going on to her. It's like she was like, oh, I didn't know that was, what was going on. It's like that was her first time like realizing, like, come on.
But even then, let's be honest, Tony wouldn't take therapy.
Yeah, of course, but like I'm just saying, like she didn't even make an attempt. Really, she is like shitty to him. She showers with him. Okay, great. And then they go to sleep, and then, you know, like, it's not his fault. He had a fucking panic attack. Like, she wakes up at first, she's like, oh, you okay? You okay?
Yeah.
Then the armor attacks, and she's like, fuck that. You know, fuck this. Like, I'm out.
You,
fuck, I'm out.
She's like, I'm sleeping downstairs.
I'm sleeping with Killian. Like, goddamn. Like, please, just, like, try and help him a little bit. Like, be a nice person. Goddamn. I don't know. It just bothered me. Because, like, I don't know. It just didn't portray her in the best light in this movie.
Then we move on to the part where Happy's following.
Yes, which is cool. I like to, you know, like it's played as a joke and stuff, like when he's talking about it at first, but it's like it's cool to see him actually like get something done and like kind of like have a role in the movie.
Yeah. He's actually what got the whole thing rolling.
Yeah.
Like, he's what got Tony looking into it more.
Yeah. So he sees him like, you know, passing off the extremis to him or whatever, and then he bumps into the guy on the way out when he got like a piece of it or whatever. I think. And he's like, oh, what's up? You here like see a movie or something? He's like, yeah. What is it? A little movie called The Party's Over, starring you and your junkie friends.
But the thing is, like, that bugged me. Why would he he's becoming too arrogant. Like, he's just like,
well, the guy
bitch.
The guy clearly knows that he's been following him.
Yeah,
like, that was he bumped into him on purpose.
Yeah.
He knew the jig was up. He's like, oh yeah, you want to play games?
Why push him though? You have no idea what this guy's capable of, bro. He's just like. Just so quick,
he thinks
bro.
He's a badass. Though.
Yeah, like he bro.
That's the thing. I mean, he kind of is, doesn't he? Like actually, like kind of fight him a little bit. Like he holds his own for like a few seconds. Like, he actually holds his own until the explosion.
Kind of.
I'm pretty sure because the guy like punches at him. He like catch it. He blocks it here, and then he punches him back.
Yeah, but the guy was holding back. Clearly, you could tell the guy.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. But like I'm saying, like he didn't like immediately get shit on, which I like. I like that he has a little bit of something, a little bit of fight in him. So once the extremis explosion happens, and they show a little bit more of it later on. They use the
explosion,
nuclear shadows, which is like a real thing. That's a real thing from that they took inspiration from, I assume, from like Hiroshima. And like that was a real thing. Like they would leave behind shadows from people that were caught in a nuclear explosion. They took that.
Yeah,
I just thought that was like an interesting thing.
Yeah. Well, actually, hold on. To go back real quick, we also get the first glimpse of like what exactly Tony's up against in this movie. Like obviously these people can explode because they can, but it's not even just that, it's their healing ability too. Cause like they show you, he got fucked like from head to toe. He got completely like, and he just walks it off.
Yeah.
So
Happy?
It's like
not so much.
Not so much. But they show you, it's like damn, like Tony's definitely up against some shit.
Yeah.
So
so I just want to know, what are your thoughts on the whole speech to the news and the address and all that? I'm curious what you think.
I wrote, that is Tony. That is a mix of Tony's anger and arrogance all in one shot. It was really fucking stupid on his part. That is honestly one of the. It's supposed to come off like badass and angry. You know what I'm saying? You can clearly tell he wasn't thinking because Tony wouldn't actually do that. But like at the same time, arrogant Tony and angry Tony together are not a good mix. Because that's exactly what that was. I think there is
like an element of just like how messed up he's becoming with all the PTSD and everything. It's just like everything is like closing in on him. He's just like he just lost it.
Yeah, and that's exactly what that was. It's like you can tell he wasn't holding back, but you can tell like after he was like, "Oops," because he's clearly scared. Like they're getting ready, like you know what I'm saying. He's got like protocols and all this stuff like that he wants to take care of, and he's trying to.
But like doesn't everybody know where he lives anyway?
No, because I'm pretty sure he moves.
He's been in that house since
Iron Man
start.
2.
No, since the beginning. That's in Iron Man 1 too.
Oh, yeah, maybe. You're right. Yeah, but everybody does technically know where he lives. Like, I'm pretty sure you can find his address.
I'm pretty sure they know because, like, people will, like, just come to his house, like, at any point, like, the reporters and stuff.
Yeah. No,
people will know where he lives. But, you know, he's just I think he's just specifically calling out the Mandarin. I don't know. I feel like he probably could have been found either way.
One thing that did bother me, and I did write it down, is So that explosion was clearly an accident. Like that was not a setup on purpose. You know what I mean? Like, but then they like
the extremist thing.
Yeah.
No, that was set up. They're doing that on purpose.
No.
Yes, it's all intentional. They're finding people that can't handle it. Like you can tell when he goes up and he's like, "Can you regulate?" The guy's like, "Yeah,
yeah, you're right.
Like he knows they're doing it on purpose to use that as bombs.
As bombs,
that's the whole thing.
So
that way it's not traceable. But they're just giving it specifically to people they know can't regulate and can't handle it. In order to use them as bombs to then lead into the Mandarin thing. It's all very intentional, for sure.
But yeah, anyway, so yeah, you're right, actually. So yeah, Tony giving his address, very ballsy on his part, and then
because I think people that don't like this movie or shit on it in ways that's like a big point of contention. They're like, why would he do that? Why would he give out his address?
But it's true,
and
it's like most people would already know.
I feel like even if he hadn't done that scene, they would have just cut to the next scene of him getting attacked by the Mandarin anyway. Like they wouldn't have even had to explain it.
Yeah,
like,
they wouldn't have. Yeah,
I don't think it. He could have found him either way.
So that virtual crime scene.
Yeah.
I wrote, why has Tony not shared that technology, man?
I mean, it's just like Batman technology. Yeah, it's exactly like
awesome.
The Arkham stuff.
It's amazing. And the fact that he hasn't shared that is like, bro, what are you doing?
Well, he does say, doesn't he say? What does he say in some? I think it's in this movie. He's talking to Rhodey or whatever. He's like, I can help you guys with this stuff. Like, I have so much tech that I can give and help you guys out with this stuff. No. And they're like, no.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
But
like,
I mean, that
he's
tech
literally offering you like tech that's
like
decades ahead of its time.
Bro,
like,
that tech is so good.
Yeah.
And for them not to use it, it's just like, wow.
But yeah, I like that he does offhandedly mention when he's going through all that stuff. He's like, he says there's a lot of theater and pageantry going on with this Mandarin guy. It's like just a slight hint. That. Like it's just like a slight hint towards that twist.
But it also makes sense because it's like Tony would know because Tony likes his theatrics.
Yeah.
So,
but he's just like there's something a little bit too showy about this guy. Like, and it's just like a slight little one-off line. But knowing the twist, you're like, oh, he's like starting to kind of like the gears are starting to turn in his head about what's going on there.
Yep. And then we have that ring at the door.
Yeah, and he says at some point, I think he says to Pepper or whatever, he's like, the ring at the door. And then he's like, yo, what's going on? We're supposed to be in full security lockdown here. It's like, I guess I don't know if that was just a joke or if he was actually supposed to be like in some sort of. I think he was. They were supposed to be like.
Probably, I bet you Pepper's the one who shut it down.
Yeah, probably.
Because she was getting ready to leave.
Yeah,
she was literally about to leave. Yeah,
great point. He comes out in the suit as well, so like you can tell he's taking it relatively seriously. He's trying to make sure everybody's safe.
Yeah, you can tell it got to him. He was like, "What was I doing?" And then you have Pepper who drops down the bags.
Yes, dude. The line when she comes up and he's like, "Please don't tell me there's a 12-year-old kid sitting in that car."
Yes.
Like, actually, he's 13. And you see, I'm gonna cut it in the video here. It's so fucking good. He goes. Oh.
Please don't tell me there's a 12-year-old kid waiting in the car that I've never met.
He's 13. No.
Yeah. He's like, literally like something like hit him. He's like, oh. No, I'm kidding. And he's
like, she just took away all his PTSD in that 1 second.
Like he fucking freaked the hell out.
He did.
Like oh my god, it was so good.
But no, and then it goes back to him and Pepper, back and forth. And again, so good though.
Yeah.
There's still like it's supposed to be like a serious thing, but at the same time, they're still back and forthing in such a good way.
Yeah, they have great chemistry in all of these movies. And Maya, I think, mentions the bunny or whatever. Or Pepper's like, "Do you think that's normal? Was that normal?" And he's like, "It's a big bunny. Relax about it."
Yeah.
Is that normal?
Sadly, yes, this is normal.
It's very normal.
It's a big bunny. Relax about it.
Yeah, he's like, He's like, leave it alone. He's like, why are you talking about it? Yeah.
And I love that Maya looks at the TV screen. She's like, "Do we need to worry about that? About the missile that's like seconds away from hitting the house there?"
Yeah, she doesn't even try to run.
Should we worry about that? We're about to be blown up.
To be fair, it's Tony's house, so you would think he would have had some kind of defense.
I mean, I guess, but she's like so nonchalant about it. She's like, should we? Is that a thing? Should we worry about that?
Is this live? Is this live right now?
I don't know.
But yeah. So and then we have that explosion, and they get fucking flown back, and Tony's absolute quick thinking.
That's exactly right. Yeah. That Tony thinks hella quick and puts the suit on Pepper first.
Yeah.
Like it's in slow mo, but like he had to think so fucking fast. If
and it's not just that, it's like he hit that wall.
Oh yeah,
hard.
Yeah.
I actually wrote Tony took some really serious hits.
Yeah, that could have fucked him up.
Yeah, he took some really serious hits.
And he thought to protect her first over himself, even though that could have killed him. But that whole scene is amazing, slow motion and everything. It's
to be fair, that scene though, it also shows you, obviously Tony like he obviously loves Pepper. Yeah, he's not paying attention to her, but it's because he's trying to protect her at the same time.
Of course, yeah. No,
so I mean, we all know that, but then also like
that
puts the icing. Yeah, that puts the icing on the cake. It's like he's thinking of her always.
Yeah.
So like he protects her like nothing. I also wrote the house starts to crumble.
Yeah.
And then R.I.P. to Tony's bots.
Oh yeah, they all get fucking shot up and exploded.
Yeah, but I mean, he comes back from him at the end. But you know,
the reason I think that scene as well is so fucking good, and a lot of this movie, and we'll talk about it later, is so good, is the practical effects. That is that they built the entire house. Yep. And put it on
it's a one big giant set.
Yeah, they put it on the a tilter thing, so they could actually like drop it like this and have him slide, and they put all the debris in there. Yep. It lends itself so well to like the believability of it. It's fantastic. Like the effects and the practical, like the mix in this movie is so well done. And he starts to slide down. He gets the suit back from Pepper, and he does that. Like there's just some dope like little attacks that he does here because he's limited in what he can do. So he takes the piano, shoots it at the helicopter. Yeah. Fucking cool.
It's good, smart, quick thinking.
Pulls the missile out of his arm on his own since he can't shoot. Throws it, shoots it.
Yep.
Dope. Like really fucking cool. And then when he gets trapped under the rubble, the hand comes off of him and helps him out. Like that's so like just really smart, like cool little things like that I love.
So I know this is a prototype, right? But it bugs me a little bit because it was at the beginning of Avengers 1 where he's under the water with his suit.
Right.
So why wasn't this one? I guess it's maybe.
I think it's just because it got damaged.
Yeah, I mean maybe I don't know. I don't even. That's the thing. I don't think it even took that much damage. I think it's like, and he had water in it before the arm even came off. Like he was already like I don't know. Maybe it's just because it's.
I think it did take a more damage than you think.
Yeah, probably.
Just because
I hated that water was getting inside of that.
He gets crushed by a whole building.
I mean, that's true. Yeah, that's
so
true.
I think it just fucked up that whatever little protection it probably had, because he probably didn't focus all in on that because it was a prototype, but it probably had a little bit of protection.
I also wrote that you can clearly tell Tony's fighting on pure adrenaline.
Yeah,
like that whole part, he took damage and he's fighting on pure adrenaline, and then the suit takes off. We obviously know it's not Tony because he loses consciousness.
Right.
And then he wakes up. He crash lands
Rose Hill, Tennessee.
Yeah, Tennessee. And one of my favorite lines between him and Jarvis, where he's like, Tennessee. He's like, what'd you do? He's like, and Jarvis is like, I made a flight plan. He's like, I made a flight plan, sir. He's like,
but he says it so happy. He's like,
it's like, yeah, like he says it like, I did what you asked. Yeah, like he says it like slightly concerned, like, why are you yelling at me? But at the same time, it's like, hey, I was just listening. Like, it's so good. It's the most human Jarvis comes off as in like the whole thing almost, where he's just like, hey, I did it. Like, it's so good. It's so good. I wrote Tony is way stronger than you would think because he's lugging that suit, and I believe. Like on average, I actually looked it up. I believe on average, most of Iron Man's suits weigh like 200 pounds.
Oh yeah,
and he's like dragging that shit.
I don't know how far he has to go though. I wonder. Like, he's got to go out of the forest.
Yeah,
I mean he was just off of a road, I guess.
Yeah, but he still drags that.
Yeah, it's still pretty rough.
And I mean,
for sure.
that's why he's completely banged up.
Yeah.
Then we meet.
Well, he goes to that phone booth or whatever and records that message for her.
Yeah, that's right.
And in the message, he's like, "I'm wearing a poncho that I pull off a wooden Indian." He's like, God damn it, but I can't come back yet or whatever. And then he just wanders into that fucking back thing, and then the kid comes in with the potato gun.
This is some of the greatest dialogue in all of the MCU.
That
fucking
kid,
of the MCU.
That kid, I want him back so bad. Like I know he's in Endgame for like a scene, but please bring him back to do something, like be an Iron Man like kid somehow.
But
let's see. Let's start. He said wait, what does he say? I think so. One of them says like it's actually he says something about War Machine. Oh yeah, the kid says War Machine, and then he says it's Iron Patriot now. And he says that's way cooler. And he says no, it's not.
No, it's not. yeah. He's like no, it's not.
And say no, it's not. And then of course the line that we've talked about so much
several times. This is one of the lines that makes me love this movie. Like,
my
dad,
well, my mom's, at work right now. My dad went down to the 7-Eleven to
buy some
scratchers, and I guess he won because that was like 7 years ago, and he never came back.
And then Tony hits you with the best line ever.
Which happens. Dad leaves, and then be a pussy about it.
Oh, so good, dude.
So, who's home?
My mom already left for the diner, and Dad went to 7-Eleven to get scratchers. I guess he won because that was 6 years ago.
Which happens, dads leave. No need to be a pussy about it. Here's what I need.
That line.
Just the way he says it.
Yeah, that delivery.
No need to be a pussy about it. Here's what I need.
The back and forth between him and Tony is so damn. It's
fantastic.
Just like so good.
I love shit like that though, because like just the fact that he's like able to treat the kid as just like a normal person.
Yeah, it's exactly. It's
I
funny because people
appreciate
would be
that.
like, "Oh, he's so mean," but no, Tony's treating this kid.
Yeah, and I think
like he's a
as
person.
a kid, as kids, like that's how kids want to be treated. Kids don't want to be talked down to; they want to be treated like a normal person. So I think he appreciate that, and that's kind of what helps build their rapport so much. And I love after he's like, he's like, here's how you can help me. You can get me this, and a sandwich, and I need these power vaults or whatever.
And then having a conversation.
And then having a conversation, he's like, you know what I keep thinking about? Where's my sandwich?
Yeah, it's so good, man.
You know what keeps going through my head? Where's my sandwich?
That's away.
Yeah, I got to wait to the Mandarin thing again. And it's funny because I was sitting here thinking, and at this point I wrote, they really push this Mandarin thing a little too much.
Oh, is that the next Mandarin scene? Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm just like, no, it's a little too much. Like, no, now knowing that there's going to be that twist, I was like, they really, they could have given us 2 to 3 tops of the whole Mandarin thing, and it would have been fine. But they shoved it down our throats.
They only give you 3, don't they?
No. It's not even just that. It's even them talking about him. Like I'm saying, they really were trying to they were really trying to sell it. Yeah. Hype him up, and then for them to do that choice. I think that's what made people mad.
Maybe
because the Mandarin is one of Tony's.
But hype him up
villains.
as a terrorist, not as the Mandarin. That's what I'm saying. It's he would have just been a terrorist guy. I can't imagine that would have been more interesting.
It's killing me because I want to say the Mandarin in the comics is a sorcerer, but I think I'm wrong. But I can't remember. I'm almost positive he's a sorcery
I think you're right.
User.
I think you are right. So you get that, and then I think is this where they kind of introduce the president a little bit?
Yes,
just a little bit. Yeah. This isn't the scene where he threatens him or whatever, but he's there watching it or something. No, that's not it, is it? Isn't that the third one?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So they go to the site of that explosion, which is why he plotted the route there to begin with, of the very first explosion that matched the criteria of the right thing, and they walk up to the crater, and Harley goes, "You know what this crater reminds me of?" And Tony goes, "No idea. I don't care."
Yeah, because he knows where the kid's going.
It's just the way he said it.
Yeah.
So they go in there and they talk about whatever happened. He's kind of doing some investigative work. Do you have anything else about that?
Yeah,
you're smiling like you do.
Yeah, because it's funny because you could tell then the kid says he starts slowly creeping back into the New York talk. He's like stop manipulating the car.
You did this. You did this.
Yeah. No, but I'm saying he's like let's move away from that. You're manipulating this conversation. I'm not talking about it. And you can see.
And then he has the panic attack. And he's like, "Oh, great, now you did it."
Well, did you notice? And I mean, I can show you after we take a break. Did you notice? It looks like there's a deleted scene in there or a cut. And I think Tony put his hands on the kid, but just shook him. But they took the scene out because literally Tony turns to him and it looks like he went to shake him for a second and then just decided to. Cut that scene.
I think I know what you mean. Yeah. So then he goes to the bar to meet the woman or whatever. And the weirdest thing to me about this scene that seems strange is he's going in to see her, and the red-haired lady is walking out, and they bump into each other. But if the red-haired lady was going to meet her, why was she walking out of the bar without having ever talked to her yet? It just seems like maybe a weird continuity error that they fucked up.
The way it's funny because I thought about the same thing, and the only way I could think of is she wanted to check it out.
Yeah.
And then. The other guy's outside. I can't remember his name. The other guy's outside.
Yeah.
So he could have.
They never say his name. I'm pretty sure. I wish I knew his name because I really like the bald guy.
Yeah,
I love his character.
But Tony, I guarantee you, he might have called him and be like, "Hey, Tony's here."
Yeah.
So just step away for right now or something because that's the only thing I could think of. Other than that, I don't know because it does seem weird.
Yeah.
Why did she leave the bar?
It's not a big deal, but it's just weird. Thing. Yeah, so he kind of discovers a little shit and talks to the mom, and then she shows up and they start fighting, and she fucks that sheriff up, kills the shit out of him, rips his heart out or something, or whatever she does.
Hold on, you know what we skipped over though?
What?
We skipped over, Tony hit the kid with a snowball.
Yeah, right after he's like, "You son of a bitch!"
You did this.
He
hits him with a snowball, but anyways, sorry. But yeah, I wrote the brutality of that scene where she rips through his heart.
Yeah,
is
they don't really show it, but it's
but it's enough for you to be like, oh shit,
she means business.
Yeah.
And then she starts going crazy in the bar, and he runs out, and he dives over the car. And he dives over the car, and this is such a good fucking movie. He dives over the car, and there's a dude crouching in the thing. He's like, crazy, huh? And the guy's like, yeah, that's it. And
then he's like, you want to see something?
Yeah.
And this is what I wrote. This is what I wrote in my notes. Tony loves his theatrics.
Yeah, but dude, he doesn't. I'm just at this point, it's such a normal thing in the world. He's like, crazy, huh? And the guy's like, yeah.
It's
not
true.
even yeah, or
oh my god. No, the guy's like, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
And, I was there in New York when it happened.
And I would also like to say, interestingly enough, it's a real town where they shot this. It's a real place called Rose Hill, except it's Rose Hill, North Carolina, not Tennessee. But it's that whole town exists. It's a real town, and it was just like such a downtrodden, like barely lived in town that they were able to go there and like take it over and use the whole actual street. They used the actual restaurants.
That's really
like
cool.
Not sets or anything. Like it's a real place that they use.
Oh, that's cool. I actually didn't know that.
And they converted. There was like a church that they converted into that bar that they go into. So it was like really, again, like just lending itself to like the realism and like you really believe this is a real place.
Yeah,
and it is a real place.
I mean,
just
it
not
is,
in
but it's cool that they even did that though.
Yeah. Him versus the red-haired lady, who's again name I don't know.
Hold on, you skipped over one slightly important thing. Tony did get saved by Harley. I just want to make sure we throw that out there because there's a line that said later on. The guy was going to shoot Tony. No. This is before Tony jumps through the window. It's before Tony jumps through the window because the guy goes to shoot him as soon as he sees Tony. Tony comes out of the bar.
Oh, was that Harley?
He goes to shoot him, and then Harley threw the snowball at the guy.
Oh, I don't even remember that being him.
Yeah. Harley threw the snowball.
Did they show Harley?
Yeah, they showed you because Harley was behind a pole, and then he goes. All
I remember is just seeing him get hit by a snowball. I was like, "What the fuck was that?"
No. Harley hit him with a snowball.
Cool.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. So him versus the lady. It's like. It's an example in a movie of quick cut action done very well.
Yes, because it doesn't feel
really
wrong.
Well.
Yes,
like it's quick cut, but you can absolutely tell everything that's going on at any moment, and it's definitely them. Like it's not stunt doubles. It's just like it's the style of the scene.
Well, to be fair, it's also not super intense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you can just like. There's so many cuts, but you can really tell what's going on. It's like so well put together as compared to just like cutting all over the place, trying to hide stunt doubles.
Also, we got a nice glimpse of Tony without his suit. Like most of this movie, like a good 2/3 of this movie is no suited Tony.
Good.
Like it's good.
She's like they go. He goes in the back and she's like, "Oh, was all you got? A cheap trick and a cheesy one-liner?" And he's like, "Sweetheart, that could be the name of my autobiography." And then he dives out and blows up the whole restaurant.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know what do you know what MacGyver is?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's on his MacGyver shit this whole movie. I grew up watching MacGyver, so that might be why I like this movie so much, to be perfectly honest. Like just the getting out of situations and just like whatever he has around him.
I wrote a note about that. We'll talk about it more in a minute.
Yeah. And of course he's got that one repulsor blast up his sleeve, which I love.
One shot.
So dope. Yeah. So Harley uses the little flash device that he gave him to fuck him up.
Like Harley's smart enough to get the hint where Tony's like, "Oh, remember what I told you about bullies, kid?"
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh yeah." He's like,
imagine he was just like a fucking moron.
No hesitation at all either. By the way, like good on for that kid. Yeah, no. To hit the guy with the He literally was just like, "Oh yeah, sure, boom." Like yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, Harley's a fucking badass, of course. So then they're talking. He's like getting into the car and he's talking to the kid, and
that's why Harley said, "Hey, I saved you," and he's like, "Oh yeah,
well, no, not technically, sort of, kind of, maybe."
Yeah.
and then there's a point where Tony's like, "Can you feel that? We're done here." Yeah. And then he goes to drive off,
and he's like, "But I'm hungry," or something.
So you're just gonna leave me here like my dad? Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, you're trying to guilt trip me?"
yeah. And then he says. Fuck, what did he say?
What did he say? He said something like, "I'm hungry" or something. He's like, "Oh, you know how I know that?
Because we're connected."
It's so good. Oh
man.
So good.
And then that's pretty much it for the kid. It's it's sad that that's all he gets. I wish he had more in the movie.
Yeah, those
easily
parts
the
of
best
movie
part.
Is so good.
Let's see what else. So Stan Lee's cameo in this one as the judge in the pageant.
Sorry.
Okay.
I did write a note. Let's talk about back to when he's talking to Harley. When he says to Harley, no need in glowing when you do something good. Nobody likes to show off. He can't take his own advice because he glows every second he gets. But he's so quick to tell people, like, nobody likes to show off.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah, it's so good. That just goes to show.
I take a whole movie of just them together, just like a pairing of them. I love it. And I mean that kid as well. Just to mention, I think his name is Ty Simpkins. Such a great actor for a kid, like fucking
really
great,
top notch.
Like he has such good delivery on all of his lines.
He does. Then we get I think this is the next Mandarin scene that comes up.
No. Now we get Stanley as that cut to the pageant. He's like a judge, and he holds up a 10 for the model or whatever. So that's the cameo for this movie.
Yeah, I actually wrote that down.
So let's see. So Adam Pally, I don't know if you know who that is.
No.
You don't know his name. That's the guy who he plays the guy who's like the news reporter who's like a massive fucking fanboy of Tony.
Yes. Yeah.
It's just really cool. I know him from some other stuff, so it was cool to see him in this movie. He's like
I actually wrote. It was really cool to see, and you don't see it enough in any of like the superhero movies. But Tony manipulating a situation by using his fame is like that's something that every hero could do.
Of course, and just the way that whole interaction between them and him like showing him the tattoo. Yeah. He's like, I don't know if you can tell, but like I kind of styled my whole look after you.
Yeah.
And he uses that, and then right after he does that, and he kind of finds out about killing like the experiments. He watches the videos of the experiments, or whatever, and then we cut to Pepper and Maya in like the motel, and
Maya seemed so good. She seemed like so genuinely good.
Yeah.
But in reality, she wasn't.
She wasn't, but I think she still had like an element to her. She was on the fence about it for sure. And I originally in the movie, I don't know if you know, but like the original plan and plot for the movie is to have her. She was going to be the main villain. There was no Killian because if you've ever read the Extremist comics, like that run of comics, she is like she plays a much larger role, and Killian is in like 2 frames of the comic. He's not even a thing. Like, and they just beefed him up in this movie. Like, he's the whole thing.
Yeah, they made him like a huge thing.
But yeah, and so they're, the room service comes in, and Killian just comes in breaking necks, baby. He just bah!
Yeah, like, dude, there's a lot of neck breaking that goes
shit
on.
Like, it's like so, like, I don't know, like, just like, it's like a jump scare. He's like, yeah! Just fucking snaps that dude's neck. Let's see. Oh, we do get a little bit more of
We did get Mandarin. We did get another Mandarin scene that we went over.
Did we? I didn't write down
I think that's the one where he shoots him.
Shoots the guy. So that's the first president scene.
Yeah, that's the first. Yeah, no, that's the one where he shoots the.
It makes me wonder because that guy is almost definitely
like 3
dead.
or 4.
That guy is almost definitely dead, but like,
I don't think he shot.
Trevor couldn't have done that, right?
No, I don't think.
So
he
maybe
shot
did they just like? But they cut away from it. But it's implied that they show it on camera and everybody sees it on TV.
So how could no? Because then they show you the camera. Then they like show you off. They show you off like from the screen zooming into the screen. And, like, it's his face only. So I don't think Trevor shoots him. I don't think Trevor shoots him.
You know what I think? I think he does shoot him. But they were just like, no, it's all special effects. Like, we got a squib on him, and the blood will come out. Yeah, he's out of his mind, so he just, like, shot him. He's like, wow, great special effect. Like, I feel like that's what it was.
I mean, it's
because
possible.
It's implied that the threat is that he shows him shooting him on live television, and everybody sees it because they're like, oh, shit.
Yeah, like everybody's,
Yeah, I think that's, they can't show it, obviously, but I think it's implied that he shot him on camera.
Then we have Rhodes.
Well, before we get to that, though, I think... do we have Rhodes right at that?
Yeah, it's Rhodes. Yeah, it shows Rhodes, and he's like, "Oh, you need to get this guy." After he shoots the guy.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, you need to get this guy." So they send Rhodes.
Yeah.
And it's a fucking ambush. Like it's fake.
But
wait, no, it's not fake.
He calls Harley.
Tony calls Tony calls him. Who calls him?
He calls Harley first though because he's asking about the suit.
Oh yeah,
and I remember because he's like, hey, what's going on, and or whatever he says, and Harley's like, I'm still eating that candy. Do you want me to keep eating it?
yeah. But no, before that scene, Rhodes goes to the wrong location because they ping. They ping into like some.
No, that's in the same thing, isn't it? Because he calls him.
Yeah, no,
while
it's
he's
not
in that
same.
location.
Yeah, no, it's not in the same thing. It's not.
I don't know.
Because
going all over the place.
No, because they give us a diversion by making Rhodes go to that situation first. He goes there first, and when he goes there, it's like a setup. There's nobody there. He gets pinged to the wrong area, and then it shows Tony calling him, and then Jarvis is like, "Oh, I can't speak and complete whatever the fuck he says. I can't remember because he can't finish his sentence properly." So he's like, "Oh yeah, he's in Miami," and then he's like. Kid, what does it say on the map? He's like, kids, what does it say on the map? Because obviously he's wrong. He's like, no, it says Miami. Yeah. So like that's what I mean. Like they make you think Rhodes went to the right place at first, and then you realize he's not in the right place, and then it goes to Tony talking about, oh, he's in Miami.
Yeah, but Rhodes gets captured.
Yeah.
Like,
no, I don't think he gets captured first. I think he gets captured after.
Maybe right after, and he goes to the sweatshop or whatever, and then he gets ambushed.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, then he goes. Tony goes to Miami, and. He just, like, that whole scene of him sneaking into the compound, fan-fucking-tastic.
Dude. I wrote, give me a fucking video game, and it doesn't necessarily have to be Iron Man, but I would love for it to be Tony Stark specifically, where you're just making a bunch of gadgets and sneaking around stuff, dude.
Like Ghost Recon, but with Tony.
Yeah, like, bro, it's so good, though. Like, that's, like, he makes just a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
A bunch of shit,
and
he just
all,
uses
like,
it.
perfectly aligned.
Yeah, it's so good. Like, again, we get to see more
he has, like, a fucking, he's, like, like shooting the shit out of that guy with like the nail gun or whatever he had.
Yeah,
just
but,
fucking him
again,
up.
Like we just see Tony the man. No. Yeah, he's using gadgets, but he doesn't need the suit for him to be.
And
a
it's
complete
so
badass.
badass the way he goes in. It's just
so
good.
Yeah, it's very well done.
Let's see.
Then we have Tony, infiltrate.
Yes,
the
he's
mansion.
he's infiltrated the compound.
Then comes the big reveal.
He's like sneaking through, and you're like, "What's going on here?"
Yeah.
It's that big build up when you first seen it. Like, you're like not
but
sure what's happening.
Then we have the big reveal, and this is where a lot of people drop off from the movie. People don't like this, but we have the big reveal, and it's just like, wow, what the fuck is this? Like,
Mandarin is an actor named Trevor Slattery,
who is funny as fuck, by the way.
Yeah, amazing.
He's fucking hilarious.
Because as soon as he comes out, Tony like steps out with the gun. He's like, bloody hell. Yeah. He's like, what? Like, I'm not. You can have them. You can take them. He's like, points the girl. Like, he's like,
and then
you
he looks
want?
at him like,
he's like, I'm just trying to get out of this. Like, yeah. So then they have that whole scene. He kind of explains what's going on.
Yeah, and
he's
this
like,
is what kills people.
I had a problem with drugs, and they came to me with an offer. And he's like, to get you off drugs? No, to get me more of them.
Yeah, of
course. Yeah, they're not good people. Of course they would. But I don't know. I this is like a great twist to me. Like, I don't know. I think it's much more interesting to me to have this, like, to have it not be just a terrorist.
Yeah.
Like, Ben Kingsley is an amazing, like, performance as, like, the Mandarin, like, performance.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I wrote that there. But
also the dime that he switches on to become Trevor Slattery, like the actor, is like, he's
good.
so good.
But I also wrote on here, honestly, had he been the Mandarin, I would have been okay with it because his performance when he was in the Mandarin role, it was so menacing. It was so, like, it was big. Like, he was, like, casting a big shadow in the movie of, like, I am the villain. So I would have been okay with that had they not twisted it either way. But, like, then doing that twist is kind of just like, okay.
Okay.
Cool.
I don't know. I'd like it. I don't know. I think it holds up especially better after, like, repeat viewings and not having back then going into it with the hype of seeing the Mandarin. Now later on watching it, knowing what's happening and knowing what you're getting into is a lot more enjoyable, I think.
Then we have
he
gets hit, right?
Yeah, he gets hit by the bald guy. And the bald guy's like, so, Trevor, what'd you say to him?
Yeah.
He's like, nothing, no. He's like, why didn't you go to the panic room? He's like, well, I panicked, but then I handled it.
Yeah. So he's like, well, I handled it. Like, yeah. But yeah, then he had then he just tied up in the bottom in the basement or whatever the hell it is.
Yes. And I think right after that though we cut to Rhodey and him still getting him out of the suit. Right?
Yeah, they haven't gotten him out yet because what's his name? Killian hasn't gotten to him yet. They're just trying to get him out and they can't figure it out. They're trying to bust out it. They're trying to bust out the back and they can't.
No, but they don't they get him out like right now?
No, because they're trying to bust out and they can't get through it because then it cuts to Tony talking to Maya.
Yeah.
And they're talking. And he, like, you can see some of what Tony's saying to her is getting through. Like, you can see. Yeah. You can see she's bothered by some of what he's saying. And then Killian shows up, and he's all like, bitch, please. Yeah. Like, he's like...
No, that doesn't make... That
no,
right.
It does. Yeah, it is. Because, okay, look.
Killian leaves, and then he goes and breaks him out?
Yeah, then he goes to Tony. Yeah. Rhodes. Then he goes to Rhodes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so then...
He kills Maya. Which was just you could tell that they just didn't know what to do with her, so they just killed her.
Tony got to her. Like he clearly got to her.
Oh yeah, she does. She turns.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Yeah, she is a good guy.
Tony gets to her. Tony gets to her.
She turns at the end and she's like, "No, you're gonna let him go right now."
Yeah, he's like, "I'll kill myself." She's like, "Bah!" And he shoots her like, "Bitch, please!" Like, I don't give a fuck.
Also, you're really shitty. You couldn't like inject yourself before doing that. Like, do something. Like, there's no threat if you can just turn around and shoot you. You got to be able to be quick with that. She's dead.
So he leaves, and then we get the scene where he's talking to Rhodes, and
goes to Rhodey,
he starts bringing him out of
melts
the suit.
him out, and Rhodey comes out fucking punching.
Yes, that's what I wrote. I said sometimes it's so funny I forget because they don't always go into it heavily, but Rhodes is heavily trained. Like, he's military
awesome.
as shit. Like,
he
comes out of that swinging, man.
Comes out swinging, dressed and ready for the back nine.
And so he comes out swinging until Killian breathes fire. He's like, "You just breathe fire?"
Which I wrote. Breeze fire only one time?
Only one time.
Like, use that more.
One time,
I feel like that would be something you would use a little bit more often, don't you think? Then we get the scene of him waiting for the armor to come through and save him when he's tied up to the bed frame.
Yeah,
and the two guys.
And
are there.
I wrote once again. He just does not fail with his cockiness.
This is like classic though. Like the director of this, Shane Black, who I fucking love. He's done 2 other movies I love: Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, which also has Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, you talked to me about that one.
And then The Nice Guys, which is one of my favorite movies ever. And it's just like you can really feel like his influence on the dialogue in scenes like this, where they're just like he's like, and now, and they're like, wow, this guy. Anytime, whatever. And yeah, he finally gets it and he fucking shits on them. And it's easy to forget. It's easy to forget that he kills people.
Yeah.
He doesn't care. He kills any, like 1, 2. Actually, he doesn't kill anybody in 2, but in 1 and 3, he just kills them. He's like, he literally says to the guy, he's like, I'm going to kill you first.
Well, in this movie, I put, this movie really does not get enough credit. Like, up to, like, everything's been enjoyable up to this point. Like, it's been good. Even the twist is, like, it's acceptable.
Yeah.
It's not like it makes me hate the movie. I can see why some people would hate it, but I don't hate it. But, like, Tony gets his arm and he, like, shoots it and it turns him. And, like, there's that whole fight scene.
It's badass.
And it's not even his whole suit, bro.
Yeah.
He literally has to, like... He has to make moves according to what the pieces he has, and it's so good.
Bad fucking ass. He takes the gun, spraying at him and shit, and then he gets to the end, he takes care of all of them, turns to the last guy, he's like,
I hate working here.
Honestly, I hate working here. They are so weird.
Yeah, he's like, okay.
He drops the gun, runs.
Like,
and that's another real like Shane Black moment of dialogue. It's so fucking good.
And then
so then we get a little flash of the vice president, him calling the vice president, and then talking to me. He's like, the president's in danger. You got to do this, this, and this.
Yeah.
And I love that they don't spoon feed it to you, why he's, or how he is like betraying. All they have to do is show that his daughter's missing a leg, and you just get it. Boom, and they're not like he doesn't turn around and then make another call to the manager hey, you can heal my daughter, right? Now I'm going to help you. It's like they don't spoon. It's just like you're smart. Like the audience is smart enough to understand. Like I like that they treat you with respect, and like all you need to see is she's missing a leg, and you instantly understand like he's not going to help.
Yeah, and then then we get to see Tony and his suit still being a complete failure.
Yeah,
because he goes to take off and he can't.
Yeah.
And then Trevor, funny, because then they go back to the scene where he's...
Oh, yeah, and Rhodey's, like, interrogating him.
Yeah. And he's like, what is this?
And he's, like, watching soccer, and he's like, yeah, go!
Yeah, like, in mid-conversation.
Yeah, mid-conversation, Rhodey's about to blow his brains out.
And Rhodes is like, what is with this guy? Like,
Tony, I'm about to blow his head open. Yeah, so then they get to that. They get on the boat.
Oh, that's what I wrote. I wrote that was a good twist that the vice president was working with the Mandarin the whole time. That was a great twist.
Interesting, yeah.
It was a great twist.
I just like the way that they did it.
Yeah.
So now we get the plane. We're on the plane.
And we get to see the Iron Patriot being used by the bald guy. It sucks that we don't know his name.
I don't know his name. I can look it up, but fuck it. We're into it too deep now.
I wrote, it was weird when the suit opened and you saw the head. It was too big for the suit.
I didn't really. I couldn't say I didn't know.
Dude, I noticed little visual tweaks like that, and that one really pissed me off. Something about it. It's just when I saw it, I was like,
"What the hell?"
I was like, "MODOK?" Like that was literally my first thought. I was like, "That head's a little too big." Like it's the scale of it compared to the suit doesn't make any sense.
Kind of like Ivan in 2.
Yeah, it's weird.
He gets out and he's kind of going through the plane and kicking asses and shoves the guys in there
using the Iron Patriot. I wrote using the Iron Patriot. Extremely smart.
Yeah,
super smart.
Just
twist.
to sneak
on. Not twist,
they
but
would never
plan.
guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then Tony comes up and he like sees something out the window. He's like, wait, what? Or he hears them like talking and they're like, because the people in the bathroom that he locked in are like, whoa, what's that?
Yeah.
And he's like, something's up. And then Tony like breaks in, starts kicking his ass, and then
kills him brutally.
Yeah, fucks him up
brutally.
But they don't really establish like what is a killing blow for these people.
Well, it was the heart.
Was it?
Yeah. Okay. So they can regenerate, but I'm pretty sure it's like it follows rules of like most normal regeneration. It was like if you kill the heart, you're gonna kill the person. And he does shoot him straight through the heart.
Yeah, through the middle. Yeah,
straight through the heart.
Massive hole.
So he shoots him in the heart.
So then we get what is possibly the best Iron Man sequence, best sequence of all time of him saving the people.
It's good. It's
fantastic.
Very well done.
And
he's like barrel of monkeys, like
entirely practical. They actually did that. They actually got a team of skydivers.
I talked about this. Yes,
to jump out of the fucking plane and actually do it. They had one guy wearing like, something to, that they could track on the suit to him and just grabbing onto them and saving them. They hid parachutes in their clothing and all this shit to make it look as practical as possible, and it looks so fucking good.
It does. It looks really well done. It's a very
the only digital thing about it is like the suit, and then they completely replaced the sky and the ground because they were jumping out over like some flat plane or something, so they replaced it to make it look like Miami. Yeah, but it just it looks so fucking good. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's very well done. And I remember you talked to me about that. It was practical, and it blew my mind when you told me about that. I was like, damn.
You gotta love as well that it's like they acknowledge like he's not Superman. He can't just like grab one, zip down to the ground, grab another one. Yeah, no. He has to work within his limits, and it's like such a smart way. And they attach them to like this crane and winched them up at the very end over the water and like slowed them down and dropped them off one by one. That's all completely real as well. Yeah. Just fantastic. Yeah. Fucking amazing.
It's very like the coordination in that scene was really well done.
Phenomenal.
Like they were on point in for that scene.
Yeah, and then I also, the first time that you ever watch it, like I knew it going into this now, but like it was a twist for me when he like flies up and the suit gets destroyed. I wasn't expecting him to not be in it.
Yes, it was cool. I wrote he loses his suit.
They set it up in the very beginning, and then they paid it off here.
I will say, they overlooked one thing, and it pisses me off a little bit. What happened to the plane? They never show it.
It crashed, I guess.
Where? What happened?
Somewhere,
dude.
They were over the ocean, so you would assume.
Yes, but I don't think they were flying towards the city. They weren't flying away from it.
So the city is like right here, and they're flying like this. They're like flying perpendicular to it. So there is like some land right here.
Yeah, but that's
it like curves out. But I think it would have.
I know it's a weird question to ask, but like I literally when I saw it, I was like.
Yeah, I didn't think about it until you mentioned it.
I was like, what happened to that plane?
We could just assume that it went down.
Yeah,
safely,
I mean, but safely.
It's the Marvel Universe. They wouldn't just be like, oh, yeah, no, remember that plane actually killed like 700 people.
Yeah, but in my head, I remember like seeing that scene. I was like,
if you ask
nobody stopped the fucking plane. If you ask
Kevin Feige, he'd be like, oh, no, it crashed in the ocean. Nobody was harmed.
Yeah, crashed in the ocean. It took a U-turn. Then we have where they
go to the boat.
Plan,
or whatever. The boat on the dock or whatever. Yeah. They're going that way.
And I actually, I just realized, not only was Tony a big chunk without his suit, so was Rhodes. The one time we see him with the suit, he gets captured, and then he also is a badass without his suit.
Yeah.
Just as much as Tony.
Which Rhodey hasn't really gotten it nearly as much as Tony has to begin with. Though,
but I'm saying even this movie, like, they had a chance to just give him the suit, and nope. Why? Because AIM worked on it. And Iron Man 2, Hammer worked on it.
Yeah.
Like, poor Rhodes, man. He just can't catch a break with the government.
Yeah. So they're sneaking in, and I love they get behind that thing and they get caught and they're hiding behind the thing.
Go ahead.
You know what I'm gonna say?
Yeah.
He peeks up. He's like, all right, I'm gonna do a quick look.
Oh no, that's not the scene I was talking about.
He's like,
no, you missed it. Before that, he says, wow, what were those shots or something like that? He's like, oh, I was shooting at the light bulbs, and he's like, yeah, I bet you can't hit a light bulb from here. And like Rose comes up, he's bam, he shoots the light bulb, and then he sets back down, and Tony's like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, and then he's like, okay, I'm just gonna do a quick peek. And goes up. He's like, "What'd you see?" Nothing. Too fast.
Yeah, too fast. He's like, too fast.
Let's see. So I can't remember exactly what happens. They string the president up. Then he's like, they get surrounded by the guns, and then he's like, "Is that what I think it is?" And you see all the suits starting to fly in.
Yeah, the house party protocol.
Yeah. And it's fucking amazing,
dude. The references to the comics with some of those suits is ridiculous. You have Igor.
I was just gonna say Igor is amazing.
You have Igor. You have what's the other one?
I don't know the names of all of them, but you have the one with the drills. I actually
wrote some of them down. Some the ones that I knew. Heartbreaker. Red Snapper.
He even says Heartbreaker and Red somebody.
And if you look at all the suits, there's even like one of the designs of the suit is like his space orbiting suit.
Yes, that's in there. The one that was in Avengers, the game.
Yeah. I literally wrote as a joke. I wrote, "You get a suit, and you get a suit." The amount of suits in this, it's like it went from Tony having no suits to, "Hey, we're making up for absolutely not having suits throughout most of the movie."
Yeah, because it was buried under the rubble. Yeah. They talk about that it was buried in the rubble.
I was like, it was really really cool to see all that. Guy Pearce, who played Aldrich, by the way, I also said he does a really amazing job throughout this whole movie. Mm-hmm. It sucks that people despise him being like a villain. It's not that they despise it; it's just they were like, "Oh, we wanted the Mandarin," because that's how the movie was hyped. But but he did an amazing job from beginning, being this nerdy. Like, there's a line that he says in there that's kind of dark, where he's like, "I almost took the one-way trip to the lobby," where he's talking about killing himself.
Yeah, which is real weird.
Yeah.
Like, he's just like, I was gonna offer this guy a business proposition randomly one day
because
I
he
saw
felt
him at an
foolish.
expo, and now I'm gonna kill myself.
Yeah,
just
because he
didn't
felt
come
foolish.
Up here.
Like he felt
it's
like,
a bit of a leap.
well, clearly he was like he idolized Tony.
Yeah.
Clearly, so then to have like your idol be like, "Oh yeah, go to the roof," and then be up there for hours.
Yeah, go to the roof and kill yourself.
Yeah, and then be up there for hours. He
Yeah.
It was dark. But anyways, like, so for him going to that nerdy and then to being like this very like handsome, like almost like sexy type like character to then like playing crazy.
Yeah.
When he attacks Tony through the ground and like he like even his lines and the way he delivers it, it's like, okay, pal, calm down.
It might get a little bit too much though at the end.
It does a little bit.
He gets a little corny towards the end.
Because
and kind of ruins
it's the
it.
villain. It's the villain trope though. That's what it is.
It was just like we didn't really need him to say like, "I am the Mandarin. It was me. I'm the Mandarin." Like, I was a little bit like, we didn't need that. We get it.
But at that point, he was already. At that point, he's like. At that point, he's becoming desperate, anyways. Because
I'm just saying, like, they didn't need to have him say that. Like, we get it. He's the real. Like, he was behind.
But that's
all
what
of
I
it.
mean. That's what I mean.
It's just
like,
a corny line.
I also wrote they really once again have hammered in like this fucking Mandarin.
Yeah. So there's some stuff during this like the fucking amazing part where he I think he's about to like smash on him and he ejects out of the bottom of the suit into another suit.
Yes.
It's like so fucking cool.
We get our first Easter egg, like our first continuity Easter egg. I don't know if you know about it or not.
No.
You don't know about the Star Wars Easter egg?
Star Wars.
You don't know about the Star Wars Easter egg? Do you not know about this?
No.
Do you not know about this? I actually know something that you don't.
Maybe?
In every Phase 2 movie, there's a Star Wars Easter egg of everybody getting their right or left hand cut off. Every movie. Yes, Killian gets his arm cut off, okay? Don't worry, I wrote it down in the Thor one too.
Captain America?
Bro,
someone loses their hand?
Movie. It's not just the main characters. It could be a side character.
Yeah, but someone loses their hand?
No, yeah. In every Phase 2, though. Okay, so it starts with Iron Man 3. This is the first one. I wrote the first Star Wars Easter egg hand cut off is in this.
Yeah.
And it's Killian. When he cuts off Killian's
I remember
arm.
that, yeah.
Okay? We'll get to it when we talk more about Thor. But
okay.
All right. You didn't know about that?
I mean,
it's a Star Wars reference Easter egg. Yeah.
I never thought about it. Like, all I remember of a hand being cut off is Thor.
Yeah.
In all these movies.
Yeah.
Because that one's like a big
There's actually two in that one.
Maybe the second one.
The Elf.
Oh, yeah. So let's see.
But there's one in every movie. Keep an eye out for it. You're going to be like, how did I not realize this? Yeah.
So yeah, he that eject into the other suit and him jumping into a suit like midair after blowing up the Mark 42.
You ready? I wrote, Tony's trust in his suits is unbelievable. If I ever find a human being to trust me as much as Tony trusts his suits to catch him, I'm sticking to that person because he literally jumps without even hesitation. And boom, the next suit grabs him.
But it's so fun. Like the way he's just hopping suit to suit and just it's so
and then Rhodes is like, oh yeah, here we go, baby. Like he's
and
like
boom, blows up. So he blows up the Mark 42 on him, and okay, so then right after that, we kind of skipped over it.
We skipped because I wrote like Killian's a beast.
Yeah,
like he's fucking awesome. Like watching him like go ham is awesome. Like it made me want him as an actual like villain. Like, dude, had they set him up to be the villain from the beginning, we could have seen like much more.
Though.
Huh? No. I mean, like watching him be violent and shit. Like it would have been cool. Like because honestly,
he came in breaking necks before.
I mean,
like, goddamn.
But I'm saying like watching him like
his first violent thing
is
is like the most violent thing in the movie. He just fucking snaps the shit out of that guy's neck.
It is.
But we totally kind of skipped over it. I mean, it doesn't really come into play until now, but Pepper gets extremis.
Yeah,
how the hell did we skip it? We totally missed it, yeah.
I even wrote it, yes.
And so I put, she has extremis, but it is never a thing again.
Yeah.
I mean, they might like slightly bring it up.
They cure her.
At the end of this movie?
Yeah.
Do they?
Do you not remember?
No.
Yeah, so when they're briefly talking about it, where he talks about, I developed the technology to cure her, and he's like, and while I was at it, and then he talks about moving his.
I just totally missed that.
But anyways, we're skipping ahead.
Well, not really. I mean, she has extremis. She comes up and they're fighting, and then she gets her moment of kicking his ass. But
they give us the thought that she's dead.
Yeah,
like she falls and and then Tony's like,
who thought she was dead? She has extremis. Everybody would have been like,
I know, but like we don't know how she's gonna do in fire.
Yeah.
Because everybody else is getting blown up, so we don't know. We don't even know if she's taken into it. You know what I'm saying? We don't even know if she took it properly or not because she has time. But then you have Tony gets upset and they go to run at each other at the bridge.
Yeah.
And they give us
he slides under him.
Yeah, he slides under him and just
so
straight into the
badass.
suit real quick. And then they fight and Killian's whooping his ass. Sorry to say, Killian was whooping his ass.
Oh, yeah.
And then so Tony has the Mark 42 coming in.
Coming in behind him, and he's like, yeah, and then it hits the thing.
Boom, the suit just hits, and it's like, Jesus Christ.
He's like, well, whatever. I'm used to it at this point.
He literally says whatever. Like I think he's like
whatever.
It's like whatever.
Yeah, so this is the only problem I have is it's a little weird, like I said, like the rules of what kills extremist people and what doesn't. He blows up the Mark 42 on him, but then the way Pepper kills him is just the same thing. She just throws a missile at him and blows it up, and then now he dies. Why does he die out of that? There's no difference.
Yeah, I wrote that.
It's an explosion.
I also wrote that. I don't like the way. Like it was cool to have
it just
Pepper say
ends.
Tony,
like she just kind of kills him.
Yeah, I wrote. Hold on.
There's not really a climax in that sense. She just kind of shows up.
I
and
wrote
he
there's
dies.
still a back and forth between Pepper, which is nice.
Yeah.
And I wrote the ending was anticlimactic. Very, very anticlimactic. Like it literally went from like this badass fight to like, okay, it's over.
I think her having that moment was supposed to be the climax, but it just kind of felt like she showed up and then you were kind of expecting more of a fight.
Yeah,
and then like climaxing into one big punch or something.
How much cooler would it have been if she like literally like did the same thing where she like punched through him and like yanked his heart out?
Would have been maybe a little bit too much for her. She would have lost her mind.
Yeah, I mean maybe, but honestly,
yeah.
like,
it just felt like it was so weird that he blew up the Mark 42 on him and it didn't kill him, but then this did. It just seemed strange. But regardless, he's dead.
Yeah, and then Tony destroys all his suits.
Yeah.
As he's talking to Pepper.
Which is so sad.
So sad.
So sad, but he makes them all anyway again.
Yeah. And to be fair, he didn't promise he would stop. I actually thought, it's funny because I had this thought that Tony always promised her he would never do this again, but no, he literally said, I'll slow it down.
Yeah.
That's it. He didn't say he'll stop permanently.
Yeah.
He just said, I'll slow it down.
Yeah.
So obviously he was still going to make suits.
Yeah, and I kind of, like, you don't think about it that much, but it is kind of strange to think, like, he really did just leave all that shrapnel in his chest the whole time when really, I guess he probably could have just had it taken out at any point. Like, why didn't he? It's a little weird when you think about it.
Well, he didn't have the proper technology. There was a reason. I can't remember this because they did talk about it. So, but like apparently whatever technology he helped with removing Pepper's thing, it was the same thing with his. It helped with his.
Okay.
So that's fine. It's whatever. And then he stands at the edge of the cliff.
Well, right before that, though, Harley gets his fucking insane tech. Let's go. Yes. Like, it's so
There's
fucking
no way
good.
we're not going to see Harley again in the MCU. There's no way.
I really hope so, man. I really
hope so, too. Like, he made him a whole lab, bro. Like,
I mean, what if he's just like a shitty actor now somehow, though? And then just like, no, we can't bring him back.
Yeah.
No, but he has to be. He's got to be. He's got to be a fucking beast.
Yeah, you're right, though. Harley gets his little his thanks, and then you have Tony standing on the cliff.
Happy wakes up from his coma. That he's been in the entire movie.
Yeah. And then Tony throws his reactor.
Also, it seems like it's kind of implied that he like wants to fuck the nurse because she likes
100%.
Downton
He looks at her like, hey.
So weird and like unnecessary, but it's there.
Yeah.
And then he throws
the reactor away, and then he finds his two robots. Clearly, he found his two little crane. I don't know if you saw that or not.
Well, he picks up a screwdriver. I don't know.
No.
Or was that the piece of
the? No. Okay, so in the back of the truck that he goes to drive away from, he has his two robots.
Oh,
he found them. Yeah,
I didn't notice
you didn't
that.
Notice that. Yeah, he has both of them. They're
That's
both
awesome.
There. Yeah, he found.
But
both
I noticed
of them.
though
the only thing he took from the rubble.
No, because he reached down and he picks up a screwdriver.
Yeah, a screwdriver. But
I don't know why. I rewinded. I was like, is that something important? No. It's just a
I think it is. I know.
Weird.
I think it is. I think it's supposed to insinuate like, oh, hey, he's back to being like. Back to going to work.
Yeah,
like he's picking up tools to go back to work because he also grabbed his robots and then.
Yeah, but one thing you can't take away from me, I am Iron Man. Let's just when you take these three movies as a trilogy, such a solid trilogy.
Yeah,
and
great.
And comes full circle, wraps up fantastically for him.
So
without the context of the rest of the MCU, if the rest of the MCU didn't exist, it would be a great ending for his character. Yeah.
And it's funny because you have Iron Man 1, which is obviously him becoming Iron Man. Iron Man 2, he's very heavily reliant on the suit. Like, and then the third one is like he has to.
He comes to terms with it, lets it go, and realizes he doesn't need it. Like he's still going to do it, but he doesn't need the suit.
Solid trilogy, great character development. It's good. It's good. Yes. I don't think the movie gets enough credit.
And we've got
the after credit scene.
Well, the after credit scene, but first, I just wanted to point out, like, I really like as well in terms of tying off the trilogy, the little end credit sequence of showing scenes from all three movies.
All three, yes, yeah,
and it's super stylized, like the end of the first movie. It's just like very nice and coherent in terms of like the style of the movies. I really liked.
Yes.
And then the end credit scene with revealing that the dialogue or the voiceover that he was doing the whole movie was just him talking to Banner.
Bruce, and it's just like Bruce is like,
He's nodding
I'm
off.
not
He's
this
like,
kind of doctor.
I can't do this.
And
he's like, that reminds me actually of this story from 1977. He's like, keeps going, and just like, oh my god,
it's so good.
Yeah, really great.
Yeah, movie doesn't get enough credit in my opinion. I think it's amazing.
It's my favorite one we watched so far.
It's actually, I'm not gonna lie, it's probably one of the most enjoyable ones too. It has seriousness, it has good comedy.
It's gonna now even rewatching it again. It's probably gonna end up in like my top for like.
I definitely will say
not to get out ahead of it, but like
it's definitely my top. It's in my top 10.
I mean, 100%. I enjoyed it more like than any of the other movies. Like Avengers is a close second probably, but like this is just like my movie that I just.
I might even go as far as to say is I like it better than the other two Iron Man.
Oh yeah, of course. It's the best Iron Man movie easily.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, 100%. That I mean, that's a controversial.
And that's coming from somebody who loves.
That's Iron a controversial opinion to other people, but like.
No,
if you really watch the movie, like, come on, it's the best.
Tony's
Iron
characters,
movie. It's easily the best Iron Man movie.
So full of himself in this movie, it's perfect.
Yeah,
it's perfect.
Yeah, fantastic movie, love it, and
I mean, it sucks we're not gonna have any more Robert Downey Jr. in the MCU.
Yeah, he'll come back.
I mean, maybe,
somewhere or another he'll show up as a hologram.
You didn't hear what he did. You didn't hear what he did with like Instagram and all his social media.
That's oh my god. That's not a real. That's nothing. Oh my god.
But it is because
he doesn't. There's no way he was like, you know what I'm gonna do today? I'm gonna go on my Twitter and change all my banners. He has like a management team that does. Yeah,
obviously,
and of course he's distancing himself from it, but that doesn't mean he's like. That doesn't mean he's on bad terms with Marvel or anybody.
No, it's not that he's on bad terms. That's not what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying is he wants to be distance himself from it. He wants to. He loves it. He loves it. But I remember there's an interview that he had where he said, like. Eventually, when I move away from like Marvel movies, I don't want to be associated with them anymore because I want to start directing and doing other stuff. So I'm pretty sure
he'll come back. It might be like 20 years from now, but he'll come back as like a hologram or something. I'm sure it'll happen.
But I know for right now, he's definitely just like, I'm done with it right now.
Yeah. All right. We're gonna talk about the Marvel one shot that came out, which I believe it would have come out with the DVD of this.
I think so.
The Blu-ray, because that's where they always put the one shots was with the Blu-rays.
So I actually didn't know about these and. It's funny because Drew told me to watch it, and it's the first time I've ever seen it.
Yeah, and this was very one of the really good ones.
Very cool. It's very well done.
Yeah, well directed, well put together, fits right in with the rest of the movie. Almost as just like an epilogue.
Yeah.
To the
so
movie.
for those who don't know, the Marvel one shot is basically just literally a one shot. It's like a quick little tale of something on the side that they went over that they could have gone over, but they decided to do it as a one shot.
Yeah.
And so the first one was actually just recently added to Disney Plus, which is where
All
I watched
Hail
it.
The King, which is kind of detailing what happens to Trevor Slattery, the Mandarin actor, after he goes to prison.
Not just him, but we'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah. So first thing, I've been watching the Netflix Marvel TV shows. So I've made it through the first 2 seasons of Daredevil, Jessica Jones, and the first season of Luke Cage. I'm in the middle of Iron Fist right now, but
my condolences.
But he is in Seagate. Which is the prison that's the prison that they put Luke Cage in. That's
yes.
It's the whole. I don't know if did you watch Luke Cage season?
Yeah, I watched Luke Cage.
That's where he broke out of prison.
Yeah,
it's from Seagate.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh shit! But like, I don't, the Netflix shows I guess aren't canon or not all of them are canon.
Not yet, but they're gonna try and make them canon.
And I'll get to actually. I'm gonna confirm real quick, but the guy that he spills his food on in the cafeteria is in Daredevil. As a completely different character. That's and I think that's a problem. And they also did that in Luke Cage. They cast somebody who is in one of the Captain America movies, I think.
As a different character. And so there's just like little continuity, like timeline problems, like in terms of casting that they fucked up on. Yeah.
And that's probably a big reason why a lot of it isn't canon.
Yeah.
But
I mean, to be fair, they originally were supposed to be canon.
I really
they were though, because they even mentioned
canon.
the fight from New York and like they mentioned those in some of the movies.
Yeah. Oh, they mentioned. Dude, it's mentioned constantly in the show. Like they can't stop mentioning it.
Yeah,
that's
what I'm saying. So they
magic
were
hammers, and it's like they can't stop talking about it.
So.
But yeah, the guy that he spills food on, I believe, and I might be wrong, is the guy who creates his suit for him in Daredevil. He's the guy that makes the bulletproof suit, like his actual full costume.
Oh, you're right.
You recognize him too?
Yes, yeah, you're right.
I mean, I guess you could.
It wouldn't matter. That guy's not going to come back up.
You could make an argument that maybe it is the same character and he went to prison because when he meets him in Daredevil, he is working for Kingpin.
Yeah.
So maybe, but he doesn't act the same way because the guy in Daredevil is supposed to be kind of a little bit
grounded.
What's the word for it? Like he has like mental issues. Like he's a little bit like slow.
Autistic?
I guess, yeah. Yeah, I think something like that because he has like some he's not like quite there.
Yeah.
but then Daredevil helps him, and then he helps him by creating the suit. But I don't think this character in this is like even close to that.
No, it's not. I don't think it's the
idea.
Same thing.
So you couldn't really say that, I guess. Yeah. So he gets, he's in the interview for the documentary or whatever, and they're talking about shit in his past, and he brings up the show that he was doing about
the Russian show,
the Russian cop, and I love. Like that whole little thing that they filmed with him was fucking hilarious. But then there's a part at the very start where it shows in the title sequence of him driving away in the car, and the license plate says KGB cop.
Yeah.
I was like,
so
wow,
cheesy,
it's
dude.
fantastic though.
But
it's so good. And Ben Kingsley,
and then they have the monkey drinking the vodka.
Yeah,
and even the interview,
He's like, is that a monkey drinking vodka? He's like, yes. I don't know why it didn't get picked up. Like it was ahead of its time, or whatever he says. But Ben Kingsley is so fucking good. Like,
he's great,
fantastic, in whatever he does, and he mentioned like he talks about at one point how there's like backlash to him not being the real Mandarin.
Yeah,
and how he read internet message boards, which was 100% had to be them like poking fun at people.
Yes, 100%. That was a callback to that.
Had 100%. That little fucking camera arsenal was like wild. Like that was like
I was really disappointed. It's not that I was disappointed. It was still fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But I honestly thought I was gonna shoot him through the camera.
Yeah.
I honestly thought when they showed it, I thought it was gonna be like boom, it was gonna shoot the camera, and everybody was like, "What the hell just happened?" But like, no, it ain't like.
It turns out he's breaking him out instead.
But yeah. So like it popped out, like it shot the
gun.
thing out. He catches it, and he shoots everybody.
And then he pulls off the leg of it, and it's like a baton.
Yeah, dude, I was like, what the hell?
What the hell is this fucking arsenal? He's got an armory in the camera. He kicks all their asses. He kills his friend, which is a shame. Yeah, that guy seemed nice. Butler. Yeah, his butler. Let's see. And I feel like based off of this, and he's like, you've pissed off the real Mandarin. He wants his name back or whatever. And I feel like there's like I feel like there's a large chance, even if it's just for like a second or one scene, that he's going to be in Shang-Chi. Yeah. Just for a second, you're just going to see him see him in a prison cell or something.
No,
just for like
it's either going to be that, or it's going to be there's going to be a line in there where he's like, "Well, you know what happens if you cross me, or should I,
they're going to I hope they reference it somehow.
There's no way it won't be.
I mean, you're right, actually, because they released this pretty intentionally, I feel like, to coincide with the Shang-Chi release.
100%, yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to be in there.
There's going to be at least a line thrown in there.
So then he takes him, and then I forgot about this, and you had never seen it, and I forgot that it was in there, and it blew my mind when he pulls down the newspaper, and it's Sam fucking Rockwell! Let's go!
It's awesome. He's like, what's the big deal with this guy? He's like, I have an army of robots.
Bro, oh my God.
He's like, I have an army of robots. He's like, every morning I have to wake up and look at this.
And he's still talking about, I mentioned it when we watched Iron Man 2, about how he would always keep up this false pretense that him and Tony were like cool and buddy, and he's still talking. He's like, no, we're friends. No, we have
brothers in arms.
Yeah, brothers in arms. We
sold arms.
We sold arms.
He's like, he's like, we have a boat. I had a boat.
It was so good.
And then like he's like, I have to wake up every morning and look at this, like Pepper Potts, like
Pepper Potts, God.
And then like the guy puts his arm around. He's like, no, not here. He's like, like baby or something. Like
it's so good to see him back again. Like I totally forgot that was a thing, and I was like, yes.
It actually made me really excited for him to be back.
Yes.
Like,
Armor Wars, yeah, bro.